Welcome. Welcome, everyone, to the Radio Toons podcast. How's it going?
It's going good, man.
I'm Steve.
I'm Ernie.
We have a few things to talk about this week, and I say a few because it's literally like three things, okay? Mm-hmm. We're just gonna go right into it and see what happens. First things first. Stranger Things got like a teaser thing, right? I don't know if you guys saw this. This isn't a joke either. It's not like a I'm not doing like a Jay Leno monologue here.
It's not a bit.
This is real. Ernie just showed this to me. I didn't even know about this. But it's basically like an 80s style commercial for something called the Star Court Mall. Mm-hmm. And they made this mall look like it was the 80s. Mm-hmm. I assume it's like a set. They're going to use it in the show, obviously.
It wouldn't surprise me if they took over a whole mall in some sort of remote location, because malls have been kind of dying all around the U.S. They've been turning into plazas. Like I didn't know that. Well, like in the last couple of years, I would say in the last 10 years, the two malls that we had near us,
yeah, that's true. Actually,
died out, and I think there's only like two left in our area. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, there's a mall near us right now that I went to the other day, and it stank, and like there was a lot of stores that were just missing, which is weird too, because I love the mall.
Malls used to be they were. I think that's kind of why they're using this as a motif. It's like it's a thing that was definitely big in the 80s and into the 90s, but not necessarily a 2000s thing, because 2000 is just like, who goes to a mall to shop? You can just shop online.
I think definitely during Christmas, it's still a place to go.
Sure, but...
Like, I mean, granted, I do a lot of my shopping online. The mall is still a fucking place to go and hang out.
Sure, but I don't know if you know this, but the Puente Hill Mall is going to go into construction pretty soon. It's not going to be the old...
Yeah. Okay, let me say this then. If I go to a mall, I go to one mall. And that's my go-to mall.
Sure.
Like...
Because it's still nice.
There's a Brea Mall near our house. Mm-hmm. I go to the Brea Mall. That's it. There's like a ton of other malls that I'm just like, no, thank you. And the Puente Hills Mall is one of them that I'm like,
no.
I think I've gone to like round one there,
and that's it.
But the actual mall there, nah. It's just like
they're actually going to be shutting that down for a while, and it's going to be rebuilt as kind of this outdoor plaza, just like all these other ones are turning into outdoor plazas. Because first of all, it's way easier to maintain an outdoor plaza. Because each store kind of takes care of itself individually. Okay. But you don't have to spend so much time, air conditioning, flooring, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I would go, is for the air conditioning.
Right. But they're going to tear it down and make it an outside mall.
Well, that's a shame. We got really sidetracked.
Sorry. So the whole thing is built off this thing called the Star Court Malls. That's going to be built in Hawkins, because Hawkins is going further and further into... It sounded
like you said Hawkins. I'm sorry.
Hawkins is kind of being pushed into the future, and towards the end of the 80s and 90s, mini malls became like a huge thing.
You know, that's true, because I remember maybe like it was like 94. I was like 4 years old. There was like the last remnant of this mall near our house. And it had a little arcade, and it had a little food court that looked almost just like the one in that trailer.
Right.
But so, at the end of the trailer, they show that Mr. Steve Harrington, everyone's favorite, they call him the mom of the children.
The babysitter.
He has like a job at one of the, it
was called Scoops Ahoy.
So it's like an ice cream place. Yeah. So there you go. He's that's I guess the way that was their little teasers. Like, hey, Steve has a job now, so let's see.
Well, yeah, because Steve, wasn't it like his last year in high school?
I don't know, actually. Cause
I feel like at this point it's going to be, so Stranger Things season 3 premiered in like late 2017.
Season 2?
Season 2.
You said 3.
Sorry, season 2 was late 2017, and they recently announced that they're going to push it to early 2019. So it's going to be like it's going to be a big amount of time between the two. So I wouldn't be surprised if they pushed it so that Steve's already out of school, and he's either going to college or just getting a job or whatever. So he's not like as... he's not going to school with the kids anymore.
They're starting filming early 2019?
No, that's when it's going to premiere.
What?
Yeah.
That seems a little too early still.
Dude, they have all this year.
Yeah.
And they ended last year. Like, it's I would expect it at the same time every year. You know what I mean? Like if a show ends in May, or sorry, if it ends like in March or whatever, I expect it to, fall previews or whatever. There's one a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, they said in that little snippet that you showed me that they pushed it back because they want more time because of the I assume because they got some negative feedback from the last season. And
I don't know.
And they just want to make this better. It seems like
they're just trying to make it bigger.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Because, like you said, you're like, while you were watching it, you're like, wow, that's cool. They made all the old stores like Claire's and Sam Goody and what were some of the other ones?
I think Claire's still around.
Claire's is still around, but not the way the sign was.
Well, the Gap had the old sign.
Orange Julius had the old sign.
Yeah, Burger King had the old sign. It was just like...
It was all these old stores. And, like, either there's still a place that has those things, or they literally built that stuff up for this season.
Yeah, which
it might be, because with Steve being in the role as a mall goer, he has access to the mall.
It might be a big like set piece or something.
Exactly.
They might have like a... I'm almost getting like a fucking Dawn of the Dead vibe.
That's exactly what I was going to mention next.
It's probably going to be something like that, huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time they used a mall as a set piece, because it's like so many fun things you can do in a mall to defend yourself. But what I like about where this is going is that it keeps moving forward. So the kids essentially are going to be more like teenagers now, as opposed to the kids, right? They're going to be hanging out at a mall. There's going to be way more to deal with in terms of the kids. I just hope they cut out this parent stuff that they've been doing, because I don't like any of that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, because there was a lot of things that they introduced in Season 2 that felt like, oh, this is going to go into something way bigger.
Yeah.
The payoffs were bad.
And some didn't even go anywhere.
They introduced Billy and his sister and his whole family, really.
Yep.
Didn't really do anything with that.
Nah.
They introduced
Eleven's
Eleven's like other crew, which like they teased it at the beginning of the season and they came out in one episode, which was like okay.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking dumb. Like I don't know. I'm hoping they just plan things out better, you know? Right. So it feels a little less lopsided, you know? Even like D'Artagnan in Season 2 was like...
That was dumb.
Like, what is this? Like, and then... I don't know. It was just really weird. It felt like the characters didn't have enough to do, so they forced these things on them. A lot of it
was like, I don't know what to do with this character, so let's have him do something. Like Steve babysitting the kids. It was definitely cute for the season, and I love all the kind of fanfare it brought him.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, why is Steve hanging out with all these kids? Like, it didn't make sense to me.
Or like,
and then like, why keep Nancy away for so long?
Yeah, like Nancy and Jonathan, like, oh, we're gonna get these people for screwing Barb or something. I was
it's just like I don't understand that.
If this was any other show, Barb would die and nobody would care. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, you know, like.
But the whole thing where they both kind of were like, Barb, we need to get justice for Barb thing.
Yeah.
It's a little like, I don't know, Jonathan's brother is back. I don't know how much he would, not that he wouldn't care about Barb, but just how much would that push him?
Let me tell you the worst decision that they've made so far is the hard push they did into marketing and products and merchandise.
Oh God!
Because fucking Christ, we go to Target like every day and we just see loads of all kinds of Stranger Things crap like all over the place. I bought the DVD set that looks like a cassette tape for like $10.
Mm-hmm.
Still feel like I got ripped off. There's like
because we saw a ton of them.
There's like just tons of them. Lunch boxes, Eggo waffles with 11 on them. Yeah, all this stuff. Anyway,
I don't know if it's the same at every Target.
So
it definitely is at our Target.
Uh-huh.
But let's just say I don't see a lot of people watching Stranger Things in our area.
There's a cup that says Easy Peasy on it. It's like, who wants that?
That's morbid.
Yeah. I'll probably get it. I'll have it next week. Don't worry. But speaking of shows that are coming up,
mm-hmm.
there's been talks about Mr. What's his name? I can't even remember right now. Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey Grammer.
I should know that. Kelsey Grammer wants to reboot Frasier.
That's right.
And this
let's just say it's he definitely wants to bring it
back.
back, but in his own way.
Yeah, because when I heard this, right, it was trending on Twitter. I was like, "What the fuck, a Frasier reboot?" Right? I was thinking, are they gonna have an all new cast do the same show over again, or is this like, let's do Frasier how he would be nowadays? You know, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So the idea was he didn't want to just go back to Seattle because at the end of the series, spoilers for anybody who hasn't watched Frasier, he leaves and goes somewhere else.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sad that you haven't finished the show because I'm about to spoil the ending for you.
Well, I mean,
indefinitely.
I kind of know what the ending is, but
he gets a matchmaker because he wants to have like a date and a woman, right? As every man does. He ends up falling in love with his matchmaker or whatever. She has like this boyfriend who's like perfect, but he ends up like, oh, you know, he wins her over basically.
Right.
She has to move somewhere, I believe. I don't know if it was.
I think it is Chicago.
I don't know if it's Chicago or if it's California, but I remember it being California. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway. Oh no, wait. I think Diane from Cheers goes to California.
Yep.
Anyway, she leaves somewhere else. The end of the series, like the last shot, is him on a plane, and he says like, "I'm going there." So it doesn't necessarily say that Frasier got there and they lived happily ever after.
Definitely not.
That's why I didn't really like the ending, because it was
ambiguous.
Like, yeah, it was very much like, oh, he's gonna go and let's see what happens. And I only didn't like that ending because Frasier has a terrible history of not getting what he wants in the end. You know,
right?
So, you know. I don't know. And you know what? It's like Frasier's a character I really relate to. I watch Frasier every single night. Ernie knows this because he hears it from my room. I've seen the series quite a few times. And it just, I don't know. Like, for a character that, like, every season there's like a girl that he goes out with and you think it's going to work out and it doesn't. It just... At the end, I was like, just let him have it, you know? I just wanted to see him fucking happy at the end, especially since...
But isn't that the crux of the whole thing? Like, once Frasier is happy and content with his life, there's really no more show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about these sitcoms, and I think that's what Frasier kind of knew, is the second that he settles down with any woman for any given time... this show's over. That's why they had to like have this secondary Niles and Daphne thing happen.
Yeah, I don't mind that so much, but like at least Friends, you know, oh, she got off the plane. All right, whatever, closure. Everything kind of wrapped up, you know, minus Joey. Sorry about that, but like for the most part, it had a pretty good ending. It's hard to end a show. I get that, you know. But Friends had a pretty fucking good series. Even Cheers, actually. I watched the ending of Cheers, right? Thinking like, cause the last episode is the description on Netflix actually is like one of the most memorable moments in television history, and I'm thinking Diane comes back. She has to, right? She doesn't. Spoilers for Cheers. You're not gonna watch Cheers. Spoilers for Cheers. Somebody steps down into Cheers like right after they close, and you don't see who it is, and Malone just says, "We're closed. Sorry," and that's how the series ends.
Right.
So. And it doesn't look like a woman, so it's not Diane. He's not going to tell Diane to fucking go away.
I don't.
But it's just like a...
I don't think it was supposed to be anybody, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's just like... So Sam...
He sells the bar.
He isn't happy at the end or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't sell the bar because he actually comes out in Frasier. And he's... In that show, he's like going to marry this girl, but he ends up running out on his wedding or something. So...
Right.
It's just like a... Okay, I guess if the whole point was to just like these characters are always crazy, they're never gonna settle down, kind of thing. Like, sure.
Well, I mean, Frasier said it a bunch of times. People don't change.
Yeah, sure.
You know, they could just work on themselves, and that's kind of it. Maybe that's just kind of who Frasier is. He's destined to just be by himself.
That's what's sad about it. That's what I don't like.
Right, but like I don't know. It's aside from that really sad, sorry ending that you just described. Kelsey Grammer was talking, and in interviews he's talked about, well, we'd obviously not take place in Seattle, it'd probably take place in Chicago since that's where he moved. He'd probably have a practice, although if I were to reboot Frasier, and we've had to, he says he's talked about how he would do it, and he says it wouldn't be focused on Frasier. It would be focused on another set of people. And then Frasier would be there, so what capacity that would be, like this person goes to see Frasier Crane because he set up his own practice in Chicago. Because, he's still a licensed psychiatrist.
He has a private practice in some of the last seasons.
Yeah. So, plus, Niles and Daphne are having kids and stuff. They stayed in Seattle. By that point, his father, unfortunately, and the real actor are dead.
Yeah.
So none of that would come back. Although I'm sure they'd have cameos if they could.
Yeah.
But that's a smart move because it's almost like Frasier's trying to pass along his own kind of wisdom in the years of.
Yeah, they could do it like Batman Beyond, Yeah.
Like
Batman.
Like maybe he starts a practice and this is an upcoming psychiatrist.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy is still Batman in that series.
I know, Steve.
He's old Bruce.
Yeah. He just does it a little more crotchety.
Yeah.
I would love to see a reboot of Frasier because I've seen all of but the last season. And that show's great. That's really fantastic because as smart as Frasier Crane and his brother Niles are, they still act like kids.
I was gonna say yeah, for sure. Even the way they ended, they wrap up like Marty's story, his dad. His dad ends up meeting this girl and they get married super fast.
Okay.
It's I don't know the actress's name, but she played Nina Van Horn on Just Shoot Me.
Oh, okay.
She does a bunch of voices for cartoons and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was weird. It just seemed like the ending of Frasier seems a little bit scrambled. No pun, because I know that they say that in the song. But like it just seems a bit like a mess. So I would just be curious to see how they would recover all that in the reboot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like I said, Marty, I think that's why he would want to, the way he described he wanted to do it would be the way he did it, because he wouldn't want to, like whatever Daphne and Niles are doing, he doesn't want to bother that. They lived happily ever after. There's no trouble. They're doing fine, because the second that they're introduced, they have to have a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't think Frasier wants Niles to have problems. You know?
You know, it's funny, actually. There's a scene where Roz... so Daphne and Niles are trying to name their child. They can't come up with a name because Daphne will come up with names and she's like, oh yeah, it's my ex-boyfriend. And Niles is like, no, I don't want that.
No.
And at the end of the episode, they say, you know what? Roz is sitting right here. Let's just have her fill out whatever name, and we're just going to take it without looking at the name or whatever. And at the end of the episode, it's like, 10 years or 20 years later or something, and he's applying for college, and he's like, they look at his form, and they're like, Crane, Ichabod. And they're like, oh, if he's not going to take the application seriously, we're not going to take him into this school or whatever. So it's like, I know that was a joke, and they don't have to worry about that. But is this something we're gonna see in the reboot? Like, because
that's pretty funny.
They put things
Ichabod
they put things out there. So I don't know. Like,
that's funny.
Or
of course, Roz would do something like that.
Yeah. So it's like.
By the way, I didn't like that they didn't finish up the stories for Roz and for even some of the smaller characters.
Yeah.
Like what's his name?
They do some stupid shit with. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting into full Frasier discussion now.
Okay, well, before you do that, Roz didn't end well. Yeah. Because you've told me that. But the other guy, the Bulldog, what's his name?
Bob Briscoe.
Yeah. He went away from the series and came back in some weird small capacity.
Yeah.
I was like, did they just bring him back for pity's sake? I have no idea why they brought him back.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that his real life career reflects what he is at KACL, which is he was fired from the air, but then he gets hired back in the archives room, so he's underneath the building, and every once in a while he'll come out and he'll be in an episode, but that's it.
He'll be like, I used to be up here, and they're like, that's great, Bulldog. Now go run these tapes.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like Noel, the nerdy guy Noel who likes Star Trek. Yeah. They don't use him that much.
No, but the only reason I say is because he was such a big part of the show. Because he would...
Yeah, he's on the key art, actually. Bulldog is on the key. Yeah.
not to mention, he used to be the counter opposite of Frasier, who would come on right after him.
Yeah.
So when Frasier was having his moments of intellectual...
Whatever, yeah.
You know, he was struggling with something intellectually, Bulldog would come and be like, and then you got hot babes and cold beer, and then slap him or do the gong or whatever, and he would try and simplify the answer in the most crass way possible. It added something to the show. Yeah. You know, but when it kind of went away, there was nobody to kind of fill that spot.
Yeah, that's why I say the end of the show is a little bit scrambled, because they start introducing, they introduced, Marty's new wife or whatever, which is a little bit strange, and then...
That does feel a little rushed. If she just comes out in the last one, because he had... If you remember, in season, 2, before... I would say maybe 2 seasons before the last, they introduced this lady who Marty goes out with for a while. Sherry. Yeah. And I was like, okay, it feels like this show's wrapping up. So either she's going to die and Marty's just going to go into a depression, or, they're going to get married. Something's going to go. And then they just break up. Yeah. For a stupid reason.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They do that with Roz. It looks like she's going to be in this relationship forever. They actually take some episodes to make it seem like
the garbage
she's
man?
Fighting for this relationship. Well, yeah, with the garbage guy. Yeah. Roger, and then it doesn't work out. There's not even an episode that explains it. He's just gone one day.
Yeah. They mention him though in 2 other episodes because her kid was at least knew him.
Yeah, Alice.
So she explains as to why he's not in the house anymore.
Oh, I just thought of it. Alice could probably be in Frasier's Reboot as an adult or a teenager.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
And his son will probably be in it too, because Frederick is in the last couple episodes of the later seasons.
Yeah, because there's this whole weird thing where he loves Daphne.
That was when he was a little bit younger. When he's older, he's actually he takes on Frasier's mannerisms more and stuff, because he's really good at spelling, so he's a spelling bee champion or something.
Right, that's right.
He goes through a goth phase. Mm-hmm. They do a lot of that kind of shit. What I was gonna say though was they do this dumb thing at the end of season 10, I believe it was, or 9, where they make it sound like Roz wants Frasier to choose between her and this other girl, and they make it sound like she loves Frasier, right? And then the next season starts, and they immediately go she's like, oh no, I'm not talking about that. I just don't want you to work for this bitch or something. Right. It's so stupid. It's why did you actually just kill Roger off the show so you could do this stupid fake suspensey
I know exactly what
ending?
You're talking about. Yeah,
it's so dumb.
Sometimes, there is an episode where they sleep together. I know that. Yeah. And kind of they dissipate it, but there's always this unspoken bond between them because they've been worked professionally for so long.
Yeah, because they're coworkers,
Right. And it's almost like Roz, at that point it did seem romantic, but then after they tried to play it off in a very Roz fashion, no, I mean, you're my producer. Yeah. Or you're my talent, so without you I'm nothing kind of thing.
I mean, just, you see a person that much, put 2 people together for that long, it's going to happen. I mean, just look at Jail, right? Well, anyway...
was that your joke for the evening?
Sure. Yeah, my one joke for the evening. I only got one joke. Yeah. But I don't know. So I suppose they do have things to work with in this Frasier reboot, but seems interesting, I guess. I'll keep an open mind.
It should be interesting. The only thing is not enough, you watch it for Frasier and he's not in it a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, why would you go back and watch it? You know what I mean? If as a bad example, people who wanted to see Roseanne tuned in for the reboot because they want to see Roseanne. Now they're going to do the series without her and call it The Connors.
Oh, are you serious?
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, so they're moving forward with the show without her. Uh-huh. And so it's going to be called The Connors, and it's going to focus more on the ladies of the show.
How are they going to explain that she's gone?
I don't know. Maybe she died. Maybe she's if she dies, that's a clear line in the sand. He's she's not coming back. But if she's ooh, mommy went to prison, or mommy had to go somewhere for a while, or she's sick, or
that's
something.
ridiculous.
They kind of leave the door open for when everybody forgets that Roseanne is a racist woman or something. When everybody forgets, she'll come back. Because people forget that Mel Gibson was racist. He had that, tirade or whatever.
He doesn't like the Jews or something, right?
Yeah, and so everybody welcomed him back in Hollywood.
Well, okay. So, let me think. I'm trying to think of how this could go. Because it's basically like Fuller House, right? If we're going on the scale of reboots here.
Right.
Fuller House is at the bottom, okay?
Is that the bottom?
That's the 0. That's the
okay.
That's 1.
All right.
And then number 10 would be, I don't know, what's a good reboot? What's something that's successfully come back and like is continued
that's a tough one.
To be on the air.
I can't really think of a good reboot that's been on the air for a long time.
And that's the other thing too, is like, do you call it a reboot? Because the show won't be called Frasier, right?
Well, I mean, will it or won't it? Because it is directly tied to Frasier.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I mean, Cheers and Frasier are tied, but they're not called Cheers and Cheers 2 or something.
Let me highlight that for a second. Cheers and Frasier are definitely 2 different shows.
Right.
And I think that's why Frasier succeeded. Because it was actually on pretty fast after Cheers. I think I want to say Cheers ended 89 or something.
Wow, really?
And then Frasier, either that or like early 90s. And then Frasier was like 2 years later or something.
That is fast.
But
that's Joey fast.
Yeah. But actually Joey I want to say it was faster. But Frasier knew that they weren't going to be able to capture that same magic that Cheers did, because Cheers is something hard that's to compete with. The theme song for one, okay? Cheers has a memorable theme song.
Yeah.
I've heard the Cheers theme song a million times, and I still like it.
Right.
It's a great theme song. The way Frasier went about it is like, no theme song. Hey, you know what? We're not going to be able to compete with that. No theme song. You get like a little jazzy tune with the little drawing of Seattle, and that's it.
That's all you get.
You get a picture of the Space Needle, and that's it. You don't get anything. And it's true. It worked out better, wouldn't you say? Like it
goes right into it. There's no intro pun or anything. It just starts.
Yeah, and instead of having like the whole like the cold open or like the chummy camaraderie that Cheers had, it has like the snooty upstart
sure,
holier than thou theme that Frasier brings to the table.
Yeah, Cheers would be like the dive bar that every man goes to.
Yeah,
and Frasier's supposed to be this higher culture.
Yeah, exactly.
People.
So and it's funny too, because it's the way Frasier interacts with like quote unquote normal people is whatever. Anyway, sorry. But so if they were to do the reboot now, I would expect them to do something completely different from Frasier now, if they want to continue this chain of successes, because I know I'm talking a lot here, sorry, but the reason Joey failed was because I feel like it tried to be too much like Friends, Yeah,
I could see that, because Joey was definitely like, the way I only saw the one episode, and like I was done with that show, but it was very sitcom-y, very like. Have you ever seen BoJack Horseman?
No.
Okay, so BoJack Horseman is the story of this guy who this horse who used to have a show back in the day called Horsing Around with kids. It was very sitcom-y. He wore a nice sweater, and he'd be like, he'd put his arms on his hip and be like, "Come on now, kids, ha ha ha."
Yeah.
Felt like Joey was exactly that, like super that sitcom type,
like cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why episodes succeeded, because it's not anything like that,
Well, episodes, I mean, we've already done have we done our spiel on episodes?
Yeah, we did.
Episodes succeeded because it's like completely and utterly raw, and there's no apologizing for it.
That's why I think it did well, because Joey was more of the same to a lesser at a lesser quality,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And the fact that it came out so fast, I think people didn't get over the fact that it was like Friends has just ended. People like had this emotional connection to Friends.
I mean, and it's not like other actors didn't try to do their own thing. Matthew Perry tried to do their thing.
Like movies or what?
Yeah,
they didn't do TV shows.
No, they did TV shows.
Who?
And then Matthew Perry.
What did he do?
He had a show called Studio 60. Where
After?
where it was like this serious like studio.
After Friends?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. It had a nice trailer. It had the guy from Happy Gilmore in it.
Okay.
The bad guy from Happy Gilmore.
Shooter McGavin?
I don't know. Sorry, Billy Madison.
Oh, Eric? Yeah. I remember him.
They were supposedly business partners for this studio.
Okay.
And on Sunset. It was like on the Sunset Strip or something.
Well, yeah, I know, because I should say I remember because Courtney Cox had that show Dirt.
There you go. That's another one. Dirt. Yeah.
You're right. So you're right. Okay.
They tried. Cheers. This show failed. Studio 60 failed. Dirt had like 3 seasons and then it was gone.
Yeah.
And then, but the only one who did have a successful show for at least a little while was Lisa Kudrow.
Which was what?
It was called.
Okay. Are you gonna look it up right now?
No, because the thing is called The Comeback, and it was on HBO, and it was it's like an ex-A-list celebrity, and she's trying to like be an A-list celebrity again, but she's like from the past.
But she's
so that's
Lisa
why,
Kudrow.
it's still going on. But it's just it's exactly. But she plays she plays a different character because Phoebe was like a very like person in the winds from the streets, blah blah blah. This is like an ex-celebrity who wants to be a celebrity again. And we've all seen that archetype before.
Yeah. I just saw it recently with, what's his name, Zach Braff? I told you the other day that I was like, this guy had that new show coming out.
I like that show.
And he was doing like
it was called the, what is it called? The
Alex
Incorporated. And I actually like that show a lot.
Well, I was going to say is like, you see this guy do that whole, what did you call it? The media circus or like the... where you go around doing all kinds of shows and interviews and shit like
media
that.
Circus.
Sorry. I will say, though, if you were to watch Joey right now, if they put Joey on Netflix and people watched it right now, I don't think it would be as bad as you thought it was. Only because you don't have Friends to directly compare it to, like, right after, right? Mm-hmm. And sitcoms are usually shit anyway. So, you know, it's like... Friends, I think Friends is as far as sitcoms go, it's probably the best one. You know, like, okay, maybe I'm exaggerating, but like, you know, Seinfeld, you know, Friends are pretty much up there.
Right.
Other things that come out, like, geez, like they shovel sitcoms out like every fucking day, I feel like, you know, so there's a lot of them. I don't think Joey was any worse than some of those, you know, so I just...
Yeah, but maybe, I guess it's like the star power for Joey just wasn't enough as a single person to carry an entire show. Because you needed, like, the great thing about Joey was he had Chandler to play off of. Like, they always had, like, the best episodes were always Joey and Chandler kind of thing. Like, when they paired up people that were good together, those were the best episodes.
Yeah, because even in his show episodes, he's not really, he is the main character, but he has other characters to play off of.
I wouldn't say he's the main character.
Yeah, I guess the couple, the British couple.
The couple are the main characters, but it's all in the reflection of Joey.
Okay.
You know, Matt LeBlanc definitely steals a lot of the show, but he is definitely not like a... You're right, he's not the focus of the show, but it's the focus of the two characters. Yeah. I think that's what you want to say. Well...
Back to, or I should say my closing thought on that Frasier thing. I'm going to stay open-minded. Mm-hmm. If it comes out, cool. I hope it's on Netflix.
I'll definitely watch it.
I'm not going to watch it anywhere else if it's not on Netflix. That's just how I watch shit. But do you guys want to hear some game rumors? Some video game rumor shit? Yes?
Do you expect them to answer you?
Yes.
Okay.
So it turns out... that there's already a sequel planned for the Xbox One.
The Xbox 2?
The Xbox 2. The Deuce, if you will.
Let's hope nobody calls it
this
that.
This is a rumor. This is a hard rumor. But...
Rumor time, people.
But supposedly, like, some people have confirmed it or whatever. Xbox Scarlet is what it's, like, codenamed right now.
Okay.
And they're going to come out with 2. Okay?
Okay.
So it's going to be the Scarlet... The beefy, new upgraded console, what you normally pay for, right?
Okay.
Good graphics, all that shit. And then they're going to have one called Scarlet Cloud. Scarlet Cloud is exactly what it sounds like. So you're going to stream games to your console, and nothing's going to actually be playing off of your hardware. It's just going to be like the, what is that called?
Steam box?
Yeah, is that what it does?
I don't know. It kind of streams games to your system, and it uses your PC's hardware to play it, but it literally transmits it to your TV.
Well, so Xbox believes that they have worked out all the kinks as far as streaming a game to your television and, like, input lag as far as, like, the controller and all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
So who the fuck knows, you know? I think that's extremely risky. I think it's extremely risky. I don't know about anybody else, but it feels like that's never worked in the past. It would be cool, I guess, if they were able to do this. But they did say that it's more expensive than they thought it was going to be initially to build this thing.
Right.
But it's still considerably less than you would pay for a console. So a cheap alternative is something that I think a lot of people will like, you know?
I never understand splitting something into two versions right off the bat.
I don't either. I don't.
Splitting it into two systems where it's like, this is the really cheap version that you can just buy and stream all your games if you don't really care about the actual hardware. Uh-huh. And then this is like the fucking Rolls Royce of our systems. Like, giving your audience a split like that automatically creates problems because it's like for crossplay. Like, if I'm on an Xbox Scarlet Cloud and I'm playing on a game, how is it that, you know, how am I at the same advantage as a person who has a regular Scarlet that's, like, all beefy?
I don't know. That's
you know, or are they going to separate those two? Are they going to say, oh, you're playing on a regular Xbox, you get to play only with these people, and then you get to play with Scarlet people?
I don't know. But, you know, it's funny because it's like, okay, they're announcing a better console right now. I'm not so sure that people have even fully taken advantage of that fucking console you put out, like, last year. So, like,
Xbox One X?
So, like, Xbox One X, I don't know anybody that has one. PS4, who?
Eric.
Okay, Eric has one. Everyone knows who Eric is, I guess.
Eric?
My friend has a PlayStation 4 Pro, but that's the only person I know. Mm-hmm. Like, are people clamoring to get, like, God of War at, like, 35 frames or whatever the fuck the advantage you get? Like, it just seems so...
I don't think so. I mean, you'd have to look at the numbers, but I don't think the upgraded versions are selling any better than the regular versions. Like I got an Xbox One S, and it plays just fine. Everything's great about it. I don't see any advantage on my end of it for playing any kind of games, but you know, the people who own an Xbox One X say that, oh my gosh, the graphics are so much better, it runs faster, loading times aren't that bad. I'm like, is that worth it to buy an Xbox One X? I don't know.
I remember this guy, there was like a whole video on it. It was like Uncharted 4 on PS4 and then PS4 Pro. Looked exactly the fucking same.
I think to take advantage of it, you'd need a TV that's high quality.
Or I should say, like, are you willing to pay the difference in price to make it look like the fucking right side of the screen? You know, like, because you had to split into both halves or whatever. To left side's regular, right side's PlayStation Pro or whatever.
Super
it's like,
close.
It's just like, really? Does it fuck? I feel like if you care that much about graphics and frame rate,
you just buy.
You just get a computer. Like, it just, I don't know. That's so weird. All I want from consoles, honestly, just give me the keyboard and the mouse. Like, fucking, why is that such a big deal? I when I got Overwatch on console, because one of my friends has it on console, he only plays on console. I thought Sony was cool. I was like, oh, I could just plug in a fucking mouse and keyboard and play. Right. You can't.
Nope.
And apparently that's a Blizzard thing. Actually, I think the developers, they make it so that you can't use it, and it's like, what? How? You think I'm gonna have an advantage?
Yeah,
but
it's unfair.
But my competitor, my enemy, could go out and buy a keyboard and mouse as well. And we're the same thing.
They could, but they won't, because what would they use it for?
It's dumb.
They would just use it for their PlayStation.
So dumb. I don't know. I think. By the way, that's something else too. I think it's so dumb when people hold like online interactions they hold the companies accountable for that shit. Like, Overwatch was getting so much flack for, like, you guys need to, like, get your community in check because it's a toxic community and all this. And I'm like, fuck off, dude. Like, it's an online game. What do you expect them to change the way people act? Like,
I feel like that's been the case for everything. It's like not... It's not like resting on any one game, any one community or anything. Everybody has those people in their community. That's why it's community. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's
but Blizzard specifically, I guess, is the one that kind of like they're the ones that actually take action, and it's just weird to me. Like, what do you expect them to do? Like, it's a big fucking game. You know how many people? Like, it's like 35 million people play Overwatch every single day. Like, what are they supposed to do?
There's not much they can do other than just ban somebody and hope they don't come back or learn their lesson.
They're letting me not use mouse and keyboard. That's all I know. So, it's dumb. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Xbox stuff. There was I did hear something else too that Google.
Mm-hmm.
Is apparently doing this. They call it the 3-pronged approach.
To what?
They have a 3-part plan to compete with gaming consoles as of right now.
Okay. What are the 3 prongs?
So, I might be remembering these incorrectly, but one of them is that they're gonna have a streaming service.
Okay.
So I guess Xbox's Mixer, right? That's theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they want something of theirs too, a streaming service. The next thing is the console, obviously. They want a console.
Sure.
And the last thing is their, I believe they called it their, what is it? Their, like, when they acquire something, like their acquisitions or something.
Mm-hmm. So studios.
Yeah, they're just gonna pay money and try and buy out studios or something.
Which is the Microsoft approach right now.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's like, okay, you've said it. That's great. Let's see you do it, because it's not.
I don't know about Google because they promise a lot. And they do usually turn something out. But just like all their stuff, as cool as Google is, their stuff falls flat a lot of the time. Like Google Glass, Google Wave, all these different Google like things that were supposed to set the world on fire. The Pixel, the phone, the Google's phone, Pixel 2 came out recently, and I'm just like, why are these things falling so flat? You
make a good point. No, you know what? Actually, Google Glass didn't hit the market, I believe. I
understand didn't hit the market, but what I'm saying is like people were like, "This is the new hotness."
Well, they have that money.
Sure, they do.
They have the kind of money where they're just like, let's just put a bunch of research and development into this, and then it's like what they do when they don't.
You understand? It's like
no, I'm explaining to you. They're like, let's go put all our money into this, and they're just like, how did it work? Not so good. Whatever. We got more money. It's fine. Like, and I feel like that's kind of the approach they're taking with this. Where they're just like, is there money to be made in video games? Yeah. Do you want to try it? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? And then
remember when they tried social media?
I know, dude. Oh god, like was Google Plus? It's like nobody the only reason people have Google Plus is because you have to link your YouTube account to it and your AdSense account. You know, so
yeah.
But I don't know. It's strange. It's weird.
They can give it a try.
Yeah.
But I think that's a tough nut to crack because it takes a lot of experience and having a fan base to follow you into this. You know, like Nintendo has survived a lot of its years, even the years that were like super bad, with fan loyalty. You know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And Xbox and Sony now have theirs already established. I mean, they haven't been in the game as long as Nintendo, but they have their fan bases, and they'll carry them through even like the worst kind of upsets.
Yeah, like I feel like right now that's what Xbox is surviving on, is like the hardcore loyal Xbox Live fans that still don't want to switch over to another console. They got all their. That's one thing that Xbox does well. Okay, I'll give them that. They're kind of like Apple in a sense that like people have a lot of purchases on iTunes and their App Store.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to go to the other phone because they already have all this stuff in their account.
Right.
Microsoft is good at like, okay, you have all this shit in your account. Don't switch over to Sony because we have all your shit here. Like you have.
Not to mention they've been working really hard on making everything backwards compatible.
Yeah,
which
like,
a lot of people were upset with the PlayStation, so they're trying to retain their value. Plus, like if you buy a game that's exclusive to Microsoft, like say Gears of War, it translates to your PC and you can play it on your PC.
Yeah, like the PC stuff and all that. Because like Sony is like, I believe I still have my old account, but there was a point where like I got the PS4 and I was like, I don't remember the password. I'm just gonna make a new one because I don't fucking care that much. Like, what is linked to my PlayStation Network account that has, like, I don't know, that's important basically. Like, I feel like it wasn't really a lot. Whereas like Microsoft, it's like, you know, you've been using the same one for like 20 years now.
11 years. Yeah. Get a free shirt for your avatar.
Do you?
You got something.
Oh, for your avatar. Never mind. Okay, that's not cool.
For being a 10-year customer, that's what I got, a t-shirt.
You know what's funny though is you say that like Nintendo survived on like fan loyalty and stuff. And it's true. And at Comic-Con, they announced they're doing a thing with Hot Wheels.
Right.
They're gonna. I don't know if you saw that. They're doing like these Mario Kart Hot Wheels, and they actually have ones that are called Hot Wheels AI. I should look at the details of this more, but if you Google Hot Wheels AI, they're basically like cars that drive by themselves.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, and I believe they're the ones that have like Mario Kart characters on them. I'm not sure, but
it's probably the, if I remember correctly, because I think I know what you're talking about. The cars are painted to look like a Mario character.
Yeah.
Like they're like for Mario, it's an all red car and then has his little symbol on the front and stuff. But it's not actually.
Yeah. No, now they're making actual Mario Kart.
Yeah.
People with like the wireframe carts or something like that. Anyway, people were saying that's a big deal just because it's like Nintendo's finally realizing that their merchandise kind of sucks. You know, like if you go to Target and you look at like their World of Nintendo toys and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty garbage, you know, and that's why that's why I think it's funny that you were saying like, oh, they survived so long on this, and it's like I think now they're taking that step into merchandise where they're like, just let the other companies handle it that know what they're doing. We'll license it to the right companies and we'll see what happens from there because.
Well, yeah, because they did get burned several years, like in the 90s. They got burned with a bunch of oversaturation, so I can see why they've been slowly coming back to this.
And I mean. I don't know if it's like some kind of excuse too, but like Reggie Fils-Aimé was saying like when the NES Classics were coming out, he's like, listen, we manufacture all our own shit. We don't have room on the assembly line to keep making NES Classics because we have Amiibo coming out like every fucking month. We have two classic consoles now. We still have actual like systems that we're putting out there. It's like a bunch of shit that they manufacture on their own. Like, if they gave Amiibo to a different company, I'm not saying it would necessarily be better, but it would take some of the stress off them and, you know...
Not having to make so many Amiibos? Yeah.
Maybe it would be cheaper, too, because fucking, like, $14 for an Amiibo is ridiculous, you know?
Well, you could still... That's what's great about the Amiibos. You could still use them right now.
No, I mean, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, $14 is kind of ridiculous, you know? I don't even pay that much for, like...
But we paid it.
Small little toy... I don't know, yeah.
We paid it.
Like, a good example... is like Overwatch doing Nendoroids.
Right.
Beautiful. I'm so excited for that. Like you have a Diva Nendoroid coming out. I'm excited. A company that already knows how to make good shit. Like, yes, I'm all in on that. You know, like that's a smart decision. It's just, I don't know. Just think of a toy company that you like. Imagine them making a Nintendo toy. That's fucking great. Like that would be so exciting. You know, that's, I don't know. I think this basically is a good decision. Them doing Hot Wheels stuff, you know, I don't know.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
It definitely is a good idea only because it expands their... I'm not trying to get too technical, but it expands their portfolio and they don't have to do much to do that. They just need to fish out the license. Especially like these things that are no-brainers. It's like, I got a little Mario Kart, like a radio-controlled Mario Kart, you know, and it's awesome. And it's like, that's all it needs to be is an RC car that looks like the Mario Kart from the game, and that's it.
Yeah, you know,
but it's done pretty well.
It's funny too because people were saying like, "Why am I excited for a Hot Wheels Mario Kart?" They literally have a Mario Kart toy at Target, but I want this Hot Wheels one because they know Mario. Like Hot Wheels is like a good name, and they know that like
Nintendo's
both of these companies are good names, and with them working together is something that's like,
It's good.
It's
great.
good. It makes for like a quality product or whatever. And it's just like, I don't know. To me, it's honestly like, it's so simple. Why didn't they do shit like this? Like,
again, it's because they got burned back in the day with too much licensing.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. They have a problem with, sometimes they get a problem with quality control.
Yeah, I know. It's like fucking McDonald's, right? The founder. Anyway.
We already talked about that.
Yeah. So, final thoughts. We're closing it out here. It's
final thoughts. If Frasier does do a thing, I'm going to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What was the first story we talked about?
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things?
Yeah.
I'm excited. And you're right. I do have a Dawn of the Dead feel about the next season. So that's great.
I am somehow excited for Stranger Things now. I don't know how. Like,
because it's a mall, dude.
Yeah, you know, it's
a mall.
It's weird because I tell myself in my head like I liked season 2, and yet I only think about all the bad shit that happened, like all the bad decisions they made. Man.
It's gonna be in a mall. Tons of references.
I
tons
hope
of
so.
old crap.
Yeah, I hope so. I like those kids. They're good actors. They deserve better.
They'll be teenagers by this point.
They deserve better, you know.
And then for the last thing, I hope they don't split their console in half. Xbox, because I don't think that'd be great. I don't think that'd be a good idea. Although streaming games will make a cheaper console, so I don't know. I'm kind of torn on the whole thing.
That's just really strange to me.
It's a strange thing.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like, and it's honestly like, I'm just sitting here like trying to think about it. I don't even understand it.
Remember though, it is just a rumor.
Yeah, it's a rumor. Okay. And then fuck Google. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We'll see what happens with them. You know, there's not even a lot to go off of at this point. It's like
they'll try.
Amazon at 1.2 was also like, hey, they said something like that too, right? Like, hey, we're gonna make a console, or like they bought a.
There was talks about making a console, but I think they found out that, oh man, this is not a very good business opportunity because. Amazon is usually into like, we could buy this and then we can turn it around and we can make a profit. Consoles are like, no, you make the console and then you make your money back within the next 3 years, and it's just like,
oh really?
Yeah, that's.
By the way, the Prime Day, the last Prime Day, a bunch of people were boycotting Prime because I guess they treat their employees like shit or something.
They do.
I just thought like that's not funny. First of all, yeah, not people getting treated like shit. I just feel like the last like 3 years they're hyping up Prime Day, and then Prime Day comes and it's like nothing. Like something comes.
All garbage.
I don't even.
One thing I did get was an extra big flash memory for my Nintendo Switch.
Okay, but like the first year it was like the deal sucked, and the second year like something happened which like completely like destroyed it, and then this year it's like this employee thing, so it's like. They just can't catch a break with these Prime Day. Like, change the date or something. I don't know what's going on.
Amazon is doing fine, Steve. They upped their Prime price and nobody's canceled.
They did?
Yeah, it's like $120 now.
Yeah, but you can pay a month now. You don't have to pay annually.
Either way, people are still paying.
You know what? My friend.
Of course, you have to have Prime.
I know we're ending this, but my friend brought this to my attention the other day. Like 2 or 3 years ago, they started charging tax on stuff. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, of course they did.
They didn't used to do that though. What it said on Amazon, like with the Prime logo on it, like, that's what you paid. From what I remember, maybe I'm an idiot. You know, it's quite possible. Whatever. Whatever. Yeah, that does it. That does it for this week, guys. See you next week.
See you next week, guys.